Growing up as a child, did you always want to be a cheesemaker?
Oh, yes.
It was always your dream?
Yeah.
What do you remember from the first day when you went to work at a cheese factory?
Yeah, well, I remember when I, from cheese factory, go back home in the night. So my mom asked me if that job like, do you like this job? And I say, yes, I think it's my life job from the first day.
Ciao, Vito.
Ciao, ciao, thank you.
The story starts in Conversano. Can you tell me a little about your town and where that is in Italy?
Conversano is a little town in provincia, in Bari, close to Bari, south of the Bari. And it's a little town. Most of the people, they work on the farm.
Yeah.
So the economy, 90% of the economy come from farm, it's agriculture.
Okay, so your family lived on a farm?
My family, yes, live on the farm. I grew up on the farm too, anyway.
And I suppose that they had some dairy on the farm?
Yes, we got cows and cows, most of the cows in the family. Yeah.
So at what age were you when you first worked at the cheese factory?
I was 16.
You were 16 years old.
Yeah.
And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
17.
So if we do the math, 50 years on, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me, why is the company named Vannella? Where does that come from?
Vannella comes from my wife's surname. She's Vannella.
So it's Pina Vannella.
Pina Vannella, yes.
And I understand that you opened up your first cheese shop in Conversano.
Yeah.
With Pina?
With Pina, yeah, both, yeah. Pina, she was on the selling and I was on the production.
From a very young age, you started to involve your kids, Giuseppe and Annarita, in the business. When you first opened up the cheese shop in Conversano, how old was Giuseppe and Annarita?
Well, Giuseppe wasn't born yet.
Oh.
Was on the way. And Annarita, she was 5 years old.
Did you just stay in Puglia itself, or did you travel working around Italy as well?
No, we moved in Lazio. It's very close to Rome, so there was a big cheese factory there. They asked for a cheesemaker, and then I moved up in Rome, yeah, because it was big cheese factory. That was because all machinery. Because I like to see from small cheese factory to big cheese factory to involve everything, machinery, everything, That's why we moved to learn. So
you gained a lot more experience through doing this.
That's right, yeah.
When did you first come to Australia?
Yeah, I came in Australia in August 1999. And for somebody want to learn to make bocconcini, and I teach him to make bocconcini.
And while you were here, you couldn't help but fall in love with Australia?
Well, yeah, when I see Australia, Sydney, I come in Sydney, so I see that's beautiful. straight away I say, for grow up my family, I think it's the best place here. And then I try to convince everyone of my family to come in Australia.
So you went back home to Puglia in Italy, and you did in fact convince everyone to come back, and it only took you a few years' time, and I think in 2004 it was, you were able to open up Vannella Cheese here in Australia, up in Cairns.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, when we moved in Australia in February 2000, and then we work with sponsorship for the visa. When sponsorship is finished, we take a permanent resident, and then we open our own cheese factory. We open in Cairns before, and then we move in Sydney again.
How did you find Cairns? Did you like it up in Cairns?
That question you have to ask my son and my daughter. Not ask me about this.
The weather is slightly different in Cairns?
Oh, yeah.
How different was it to make the cheese? Very warm, right?
Well, no, it was okay, no problem. The milk was good too up there. There's a good milk up there too. And it was okay.
The fact was in Cairns that you could actually be close to the herd where the milk was coming from, is that right?
About buffalo milk, yes, it was really close. But even the cow's milk too was close to the cheese factory. Yeah. But the problem in Cairns was Cairns is a limited market, you know what I mean? So it's not really big marketing, you know. And then
it made it difficult to transport for logistics.
Transport, yeah, because come wet season, cyclone, a lot of things. Not much. If everything you need to do to packaging, to everything you need, they have to come from Melbourne or from Sydney. So about the transport, it's very expensive, and then we decided to move back in Sydney.
I'm just trying to imagine the hospitality industry in 2004. I'm thinking of Burrata and Stracciatella in 2004.
Don't think one, what is Burrata, what is Stracciatella?
It almost was non-existent, or it didn't exist?
No, don't exist. Okay.
So it's safe to say that you've actually pioneered...
When I started to do Burrata, the people say, Burrata? You know, what is Burrata? What are you talking about? You know? Then they start to import Burrata from Italy, the frozen one. I start to make Burrata in Australia too, and then after years, then now Burrata, it's everyone knows what is Burrata.
So at that time, Vannella was really the only locally made true Burrata that you could get at the market.
Yeah.
And then about 10 years later, you've moved down to Sydney, and that's opened up a whole new market. We work with a number of fantastic distributors now who are able to get our cheese and products onto a lot of wonderful restaurant tables around Australia. How proud does that make you feel to be able to see your cheese on so many restaurants these days?
I am happy, of course I am happy.
Yeah. Over the years, Vannella Cheese has grown, and we've had to grow with the demand, because obviously our products have become very popular. But we've always been able to retain a certain level of artisan and skill, and you've always managed to keep the products very traditional.
Yeah.
The products that need to be made handmade, still to this day, they're handmade. Why is that so important to you? Can you tell me?
Because if we have to do industrial products, don't need it. we need always. I look after quality, so product handmade.
How do you see Vannella in the future? What's next for Vannella going forward?
I want to keep always. I look forward, but I look always for the quality. I don't look big chain marketing. Always we have to work with quality. Always. Otherwise, it's not Vannella. Vannella is Vannella quality. That's it.
Well, I think on behalf of everyone, thank you so much for your years of dedication and your passion. We owe
No worry, it's a pleasure.
so much to you, Vito. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, no worry.